try.
It
Let's try.
lies.
There it is. Come on, change colors. There it is.
Oh, let's see here. Which one? Yeah, let's go for this one. All right. If you like to keep the heat on, because it was 58 degrees when we walked in here today, donate here. Heat ain't cheap. Donate. If you like coffee, and we've got something from King Harvest here that somebody wouldn't let me open earlier.
Yeah.
They're busy snorting the package and screaming.
Yeah.
Get your coffee from King Harvest. Let them know you heard about it here because they're sending us care packages and we love them for it.
Yeah. All right. While Ian tears into the package,
This all moves. This gets opened. Straight to the important part.
Yeah. I want to start off with something that is a issue. The fox fell over.
Come on, dude. You didn't drink that much.
If you have an iPhone, there is a problem. It's I don't want to say inadvertent security breach, but it's an inadvertent security breach. So if you have an iPhone, go into your settings here, go to your general, which will come up and look like that, and
Come
go
back here,
to
baby.
AirDrop. God,
Bing.
wait. Now, you see that second selection down there? You want to make sure that bringing devices together is off. That is what they call name drop. You want to make sure that that is selected to off. It is defaulted to on, which I actually think is a really bad idea. And what happens if you do that is that anybody with an iPhone can come up behind you, get within range, and pull all of your contacts off your phone. Personally, I think it was done as a convenience factor because Apple had a number of complaints about people not being able to share contacts on their phones easily. And yes, it is a pain in the butt to do. But to fix it, quote unquote, fix it, they ended up creating a security breach. So,
No.
Anyway, go in if you have an iPhone. That is all new enough that. Well, Rick, I will take an iPhone any day over an Android. Android is a walking security breach from day one, always has been, always will be, because everything on it's controlled by Google. And now, Ian, would you like to talk about what we got?
Please. Okay. We have some King Harvest. Hello, Blanket Fort and Fortnarians or something. Happy holidays from the huge evil corporate staff at King Harvest.
All four of them.
So we have their whole bean. We have Peru geisha.
Ooh.
We have Nicaragua geisha. We have El Salvador geisha. I'm sensing a theme here. Papua New Guinea geisha theme.
Mine.
Dominican Republic. And my favorite, the Saturn. One of my favorites. Oh, and Blanket Fort. I've never had the bean version before. I've always had the pre-ground.
Mhm.
So this is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be tasty. Single source geisha.
Yes,
I'm excited. Oh,
it's going to be very tasty.
El
Yes.
Salvador smells really good.
And there's a single bean that was, I've been sitting here sorting it.
Plus, we have some other stuff that was sent to us.
Oh, that's nice.
While he is snorting the coffee, we have pickle candy. Thank you, Richard. We have bacon candy canes, which should be interesting.
Good bean. And we have emergency Bigfoot sounds. Oh, you need emergency Bigfoot sounds.
At least hold it up to the mic where people can hear
I
it.
swear to God, if that is the Bigfoot version of "Hey baby, what's your sign?" everybody's dying. That's disturbing.
Let's talk about disturbing.
I feel there's a progression here.
Yep, there's a progression.
I think it starts with "Hey Sailor" and goes with "That'll be $20."
Hey sailor. Hey sailor. That's the sailor. Sailor again. And that'll be $20.
Yeah.
And we just wipe Courtney out.
Why do the sailors always get blamed for this shit?
Go to know y'all. Woo.
Hello, my name is Ian, and I snort coffee.
Okay.
Ian's referring to his days in the Army. The Navy, we never had to pay that much. I could tell you stories.
Oh, I know. I know.
And Courtney's joking.
Poor Courtney. Okay, business. Giant freaking robots opens tomorrow. If you have a story involving giant freaking robots, send it to us.
Right now.
He was dead when I got there. Closes tomorrow. So if you got to polish that off, polish it and go. All Will Burn 2 closes Friday. Yeah. And Moggy's 3 opens on Saturday. Send stories, guys.
What's the exchange rate on drachmas?
That'll be a question for you.
Oh,
They were out of clam candy.
good.
There's candy canes that are clam flavored.
Clamays, candy canes.
I'm just God bless King Harvest. They sent us coffee.
Claminays is still sitting up there. We're waiting for somebody brave enough and it to get cold enough, i.e., cedar, to go in and get the cards out of it and dispose of whatever the hell is in that jar now.
The color is changing weekly, which makes me
Yes.
really nervous.
It's getting darker.
Yeah, it's good. It's making me really nervous.
I have concerns.
I have a lot
No,
of concerns.
Sanford is not here today yet. Cedar, Courtney is here. Cedar is not here.
That giggling is. I should have let y'all know.
And Cedar says, I'll set a reminder. I forget stuff.
Welcome to my world.
Clam candy after the street transaction Bigfoot was a scary thought. Yeah, think. Padre the intern is only an EOD guy. He's not in biological weapons.
Claminays brought to you by the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society.
Yeah.
All right then.
It is plastic, Michael, and I'm afraid to touch it, quite honestly.
No kidding. No kidding.
Uh,
I want the cards. I'm not sure how bad I want the cards.
We have hazmat suits. We can make this work.
yeah.
I'm not sure how bad I want the cards.
Yeah. Having known people who were in that world, Jesse,
We have
no, they don't get paid enough for that.
No, I don't.
Oh man.
That's an excellent point. We could take it to MarsCon and make him turn Steve open it.
Yeah.
You realize the TSA is not going to let us anywhere near a plane with that, right?
We can ship it to people we know there.
Yeah, explodes the U.S. Postal Service. We get 3 guys with dragging knuckles show up. We want to talk to you about your claminets. Sir.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving and ate way too much food and
We did.
got a involuntary nap in.
More than one.
Yeah.
You at the point
Oh.
of Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Yes,
This,
and
this
yes.
entire season is pretty much that's the point.
Yeah.
For those of you, probably none. Your Honor, I can explain. It's good God, guys. Whoo! That one, damn.
It's got a lot of good stories in it.
Well, it does.
Yeah.
It does. I picked them. It's got some really good stories in it. It has legs.
Mhm.
Whoo! It has dragged a whole bunch of our
Good.
backlist. It's
Mhm.
That's why you have a backlist.
God bless you guys.
And speaking of backlist, I do want to mention something else that we have been discussing today. Excuse me. And that is, and I did put this in North Texas Troublemakers from the Free Press, and Peter found this one this morning. An article on the fight for future of publishing.
Yeah, I read that. I'm not sure about it.
Well, I think they hit a lot of good points.
They did, but I think the grand idea they took away is wrong.
Yeah.
There, near as I can tell, and I may be wrong, but from this brief article I wrote, they seem to be trying to recreate traditional publishing only in their own image.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Well, what the other thing you have to look at is this was written by a guy who is a former professional baseball player,
right.
who got into writing when he couldn't hit the fast pitches and fastballs.
Fastballs anymore, right? But like I said, it's he's got the right ideas and
Yeah.
draws the wrong conclusion from them.
But you have to also look at his perspective. He is Cuban.
Mhm.
He's in Miami. So he's in a very insular community down there.
Which is perfect for small independent presses.
Yes.
Don't recreate the lumbering Titanics of old, the old publishing houses. Do it light, quick, and fast.
What they're doing is he's emulating what's known. And a lot of the problem that people have right now is they can't see a different model because they don't have any concept of what's possible.
Don't have any context either.
And so they're looking at advice from 30, 40 years ago that doesn't work for a new system. They're like, oh, we're going to change the system. But it's like, no, you don't have to change the system. You can make your own system.
Right.
You're not seeing any. Some of it's a lack of imagination, and some of it's a lack of knowledge and understanding what the possibilities are.
Yeah.
So
And
Yeah.
Cedar brings up a good point. He's spike publishing too,
Right. Okay.
which is fine.
We have published at least one Spike Antho. I mean, Spike gets things done.
Mhm.
But like I said, he quite accurately homes in on what's wrong with traditional publishing.
Yep.
And then draws entirely the wrong conclusion from it.
Yeah.
Which I don't know.
Transparent accounting. Yeah. That would be a first go.
I say he wants to recreate traditional publishing only without the wokeism.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which no, we don't have to recreate traditional publishing. Traditional publishing is a scam.
Yeah.
It's a RICO scam looking for a place to happen.
And it happens on a routine basis.
It's racketeering. It's basically very genteel racketeering.
Yep.
And you have all these other options that apparently he doesn't know about. And
Well, he does mention some small presses in there, and I have not taken the time to go dig down and see who they are, what they are, whether they're vanity or actual small publishers.
from what I can tell, they are small publishers small presses started by people in the traditional publishing industry.
Yeah. So they're continuing the game at a
It's
different
what
level.
it's what they know,
Mhm.
so they're redoing what they know, and they're setting up the authors to get screwed out of money, out of royalties. They're setting them up to get screwed out of intellectual property because that's the racketeering. That's what they know.
Yeah.
And it's just annoying as hell.
Richard make an excellent point. He just wants to change the recognition signals, not the process.
He wants to recreate traditional publishing only without the wokeism.
Which is not going to work.
Why? It's traditional publishing is good for a small group of people. It's good for publishing house. And it's good for a small group of authors. Everybody else gets screwed.
Yeah, James makes a good point too. Traditional publishing is very focused on a marketing network at the very heart.
Mhm.
And that marketing network is going to pay large dollars and large advances to certain people.
Well, he made a point. He listed 3 or 4 folks that received
One received 7-digit advance,
advance and sold less than 5,000 books.
Yeah. and it basically stop sniffing the coffee.
I gotta dig out my coffee grinder because this smells really good. Poor guy.
Tracks. We does not have them.
No, like I said, he's trying to recreate
Yeah.
traditional publishing only without the wokeism, which is all well and good, but the wokies will show up.
Yeah.
And early in the article, he says that it's being run by people out of leftist, liberal college programs.
Yeah.
They'll show up again. No matter if you set up another traditional publishing house, they will set up. They will worm their way in again. It may take them a generation. They'll be right back.
Yeah. Yeah, he ain't suffering from blood in his coffee
No
stream.
kidding. I had a rocky stomach this morning. Didn't drink my coffee. That's
Yeah,
my
Padre, you're
mistake.
exactly right. They were political payoffs and still are.
Mhm.
They're not advances.
Yep.
And
And they get the
it's-
money from their mid list and their
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and you look at the covers.
That guy, the guy that got paid, or whoever, the thing that got paid 7 figures as an advance, that money came from somewhere.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The mid list.
Yep. Richard, the bean counters don't want to get involved because as long as they are off to the side and working their magic, that's part of the scam.
Well, the bean counters have been involved. That's one.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the reasons why you get the mid-list death cycle,
Yeah.
where they're like, well, we're only going to, if you only sold 5,000 copies, then we're only going to order 4,000 of the next one.
Yeah.
And then
80% rule.
they can't do their.
Yeah.
If you get people who are on your third book and you sold out of your first book, they're not going to reprint the first one because they don't. Yeah, which is but that's the bean counters are like, it's not worth investing in this author, whereas because they have to show the quarterly profits and because they have to be able to justify the 7-figure advances
Yeah.
to celebrities.
Yeah.
They that's where they're cutting is where they shouldn't be cutting because they're killing their golden goose.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which is and always has been the mid list.
Yep.
You get a couple of blockbusters every year, but you don't. Your mid list is what's going to make your money and what's going to keep you afloat.
So
Tom says, pay no attention to the accountant behind the green curtain.
So you may
Yeah.
know more about this than I do, Courtney.
Mhm.
It seems to me that traditional publishing has moved in the last 10 years to looking for the next Jim Butcher or the next mega blockbuster,
Mhm.
and at the expense of taking care of their mid list.
They've done this. They've done the same thing that Hollywood has done, which is they're every movie has to be a blockbuster. There's nothing that can. There is nothing that can come through that can't. They don't have time to nurture a career.
Yeah.
They don't have time to nurture an author. Everything that comes through has to be a blockbuster, or else they cannot justify their advances. They can't justify their bonuses.
Yep.
And because of that, if your first book doesn't succeed with no marketing, they're gonna drop you. There are some companies that like Bain who will take a chance on like a trilogy instead of
Yeah.
a first book, and quite frankly, they're doing it wrong because you can build a blockbuster with there's a formula to build a blockbuster, quite frankly, or at least build a series that will not only generate profits but will generate enough profits to justify the 7-figure advances. But they're not doing that.
No.
They're doing all their push behind a single book or behind a single author, and they're doing it behind the ones that they think will get them the most cred and free advertising by being notable on the bigger channels.
Yeah.
So if you're getting it, oh my God, this person's their first thing they've ever written in their gay Filipino,
Yeah.
and disabled in some direction, and they're this big feel good story, so everybody else will pick it up, so they don't have to pay for the marketing on that. Which is why they're pushing those kinds of
Yeah.
Oh,
And they're
of
also,
authors.
Makes sense.
they're buying the places on the New York Times bestseller list.
and you can actually do it. It's actually been
Cost $40,000.
and
Yeah. That's how much it cost.
and I actually used to be able to tell you not which stores, but about where you should go, and they change the stores every now and then.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a 5 or 6 stores in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Where you have to go spend a shit ton of money and nowhere else.
Wow.
Or you can just buy your way on for $40,000.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
Manhattan is.
It's part of the reason why Amazon does not recommend you buying your own books at retail price, because that actually bumps your sales and gets people gaming the system.
Yeah, Winkle Red. Larry does his book signings a little differently. Like at a gun store
A gun
last
store.
week, which was hilarious.
Well, how they did that was amazing, and why they did that was fantastic. So
But
Yeah, everybody's looking for the next J.K. Rowling's or Jim Butcher. They're not looking for the.
well, the thing is, J.K. Rowling didn't become J.K. Rowling until 3 books into the series.
Yeah.
And it was someone at Scholastic. It was someone who let their kid actually read the book.
Yeah.
Before they bought the book, it was turned down by like 100 agents and publishers.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. You're not going to find the next J.K. Rowling by looking for the next J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
You're gonna.
But they are.
Yeah, but they're not. Yeah, they're trying, and they're trying to manufacture it, and some of them they've managed a little bit, but you can't manufacture that kind of zeitgeist change.
yeah, more flamethrower than you get in Manhattan. Yeah, one of Larry's fans brought a flamethrower he built,
That was so cool.
which was hilarious.
So
'cause-
Larry immediately went out the parking lot to try it.
yeah,
because-
stopped the signing, went out in the
Larry.
parking lot to try it. Yeah,
Because why not?
Yeah, exactly.
If
I
you
would
have
too.
the time.
yeah. Larry can routinely bring in a couple of hundred people to a book signing. Winkle Red mentioned the one we did in Oklahoma City a couple of years ago. Kind of brought him back to the science fiction world because we're a different crowd than what the bookstores normally see for signings.
No kidding.
A, we know what we're looking at. B, we spend money. C, we're actually fans. And Larry does an excellent job when he does a book signing
Mhm.
because he is very personable. He interacts with the people. It's not okay, fine, sign the
He's
book.
genuinely thrilled to be there signing stuff, and
Yeah.
it comes through.
Well,
And he has fun with it.
and
We turned it into a contest.
yeah.
Who was going to have the bigger book signing, Dallas or Oklahoma City? I still say we won in Oklahoma City.
Well, and how they wanted to do it is the bookstore wanted Larry to bring his own books so that he could sell them and get their cut. It's like, no, the whole reason we do this at bookstores is because you're ordering the books and you get your cut through that. So he's like, well, if we're going to do that, we'll just do it someplace where my fans want to show up. So they, why not?
Yeah.
Like, that's,
And you can bet that gun store made some money on the side too.
Oh, yeah.
Willing to
if they
bet
did,
at
I'd be
least
surprised.
one gun went out the door.
It won.
At least one.
Yeah, probably more than that.
Oh,
Writer's Dojo is another way to do it. And Larry and Steve have been very successful with that. Again, because of the honesty.
Mhm.
They're not hyping their own stuff as much as they are telling you how to do writing as a business, as an individual.
Yep.
And that's really what it takes. It is a business if you're going to do this. As a matter of fact, John Van Stry's Summer Child comes out in Trad Pub paperback next week.
Yep.
So please go buy it.
Yep.
Let's get John up there with the rest of them, because it is a really
He
good.
deserves me.
It is a good story.
Yeah. It's a really good story. He's a really good writer. He spent years honing his craft.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the whole traditional publishing, everything based in Manhattan.
Oh, it's in trade paperback today.
Woo!
Sorry, John. I thought it was next week. Wait a minute. It is next week. Shit.
It is next week.
I'm losing track. Ooh. Floral and citric with a hint of red wine. Okay. What's going on with me? You lose.
Oh, but the traditional blueprint with a big building in Manhattan with people running here and there, and the 3 martini lunches with agents. There's no need for it, and it really needs to go away.
Yeah, it needs to go away. But the thing is, New York, Manhattan, much like Washington, D.C., exist in a vacuum.
Oh yeah. Oh, bad. A worse vacuum than D.C., I'd say. Because New York actually believes that they are representative of the entire.
Yeah.
They are America's city. They are what is good about America. No, you're not. No, you're not. Not even close.
Neither is California.
Yeah.
But, speaking of the world in D.C., it's rather interesting to note, side note for the Navy, the Ike Battle Group pushed up into the Persian Gulf. First pushed up into the Persian Gulf
Oh, wow.
yesterday. So now we have the full Ike Battle Group in theater, along with the Chinese Battle Group 45 or Surface Action Group 45.
Yeah.
So
Talk about David and Goliath.
yeah, it's gonna be a bit tight up in there.
People will be bouncing off of each other trying to maneuver.
Yeah,
That's not a big puddle. The Arabian
Nope.
Gulf, Persian Gulf is not a big puddle. That's a lot of steel moving around the water.
yep. And the Chinese are apparently making port calls in friendly countries. They were
Okay.
in Kuwait this past weekend.
There's nothing that says they can't.
Yeah, that's a good point. Our bicoastal elites only care about a few cities on each coast.
And again, they believe New York, LA, New York, DC believe that the rest of the country is just like them.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
Well, you got to throw in Boston and Philadelphia.
Seattle.
Yeah,
That's just
because those are the money pits. That's where all the money comes from. Yeah, Rick.
But now that we have broadband internet out to the sticks, which is all you need, we're doing it. We're doing it from Iowa Park, by God, Texas.
Yep.
Mhm.
I mean, we had one book. Jonna was in Europe,
Mhm.
Courtney was here, and they put a book together on 2 different continents.
Actually, I was in Washington.
Yeah.
And Cedar was here. So we were in 2
Yeah.
different continents and 3 different time zones.
Yeah.
And it's like, back in the day, back in the 40s, up till the 90s, it made sense to have I guess, sort of sense to have a centralized publishing empire. That's where, so everybody just at one stop. You went to Manhattan and you slept up and down whatever street the publishers were on.
Yeah.
It made sense. Now we've got broadband.
Mhm.
You can write in the comfort of your living room, email the entire file without having to pay the United States Postal Service for the package that big.
What was it where you could, the first place they were going to stop if you got books coming over from Europe?
Yeah.
So, having it stop in New York first because it's a major port.
Yeah.
Made sense.
Yep.
Now it doesn't. I can run an entire publishing company from my laptop, which means I can do it anywhere in the world.
We are.
We are.
Yeah. We are running a publishing empire from two laptops, a desktop, and a phone.
Yeah. And the phone gets
A
most of the
smartphone.
work.
Ugh.
Yeah, and that mailing your manuscript no longer makes sense. A and
Email
B, they just went up on their friggin' mail rates again.
Email it. Email a manuscript. Click done.
Mhm.
You can email it to your editor. We get folks all over who send us their manuscripts,
Mhm.
emails for manuscripts. We put it somewhere, and our editor in Kansas tears them apart and
With
sends them
glee.
with glee, giggles the entire time, sends it back here, and then there's a centralized Manhattan-based publishing does not make sense anymore.
Mm-mm.
Manhattan's too damn expensive. And quite frankly, I'll probably never go to Manhattan because I hate to start throwing a hands the third person I meet.
Yeah, that's a good point, Rick. It was kilobit text back in the day. Some of us are old enough to remember that.
Mhm.
And 300 baud modems and dial-up.
Stone knives and bear skins.
And
I'll be honest, I actually did. I submitted 23 years ago. I submitted a story via email.
Yep.
It was possible. I did it. It wasn't fast, but I did
and
it.
you were praying that nobody picked up the friggin' phone in the other room and disconnected you too.
Oh no, we only had the one phone, and I was sitting on it. Like there was, you do not touch the phone while I'm on the internet.
But
So-
no, it's
Yeah.
And now in 2023, 2024 makes no sense. The Manhattan-based publishing makes zero sense. It's too damn expensive. There's too many gatekeepers being too stupid. That's
1149, Tom. James, you're a kid. 28.8 was your first modem.
sacrifice a robot to access the internet. Yes, I miss those days. But no, it's
Red Dragon. Oh God. Oh.
but the small presses like ours, I don't want to say we're the way to go because we're still feeling our way around. We really are. We're still feeling. We haven't started novels yet. That's gonna be fun.
Well, and the thing is, one of the things I did in Vegas was I went up to several different distributors and different places and said, "Hey, this is what we do. Let me tell you how we do this. Help me do it better."
Yeah.
And I had a couple people look at them and go, "We can't do this. We don't have the possibility. We don't have the ability to do this." We're so Rackham Press is so cutting edge right now that we're pushing the rest of the industry into finding solutions for us.
That's kind
Which
of
is
scary.
Good. I actually gave away a handful of postcard books saying, "Hey, this is what we do. Help me do this better." And I took the postcard books because colored interior is probably the hardest thing to do in all this and get it done right. And they're like, "Huh, give me your card. We'll get back to you."
Oh.
I've never been cutting edge on any. Well,
Hey, Tom, I got one word for you. Read between the lines.
literally,
Who's got 2 thumbs and 2 gigabit internet to the house? Yeah, right.
the only cutting edge I've ever been on will not be discussed in private, in public company, mixed company. As far as cutting edge, that scares the hell out of me. The fact that we're on the cutting edge of anything. It's like I'm just stumbling along here.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm pissed off. Let's do this. We're now
And-
cutting edge. What the fuck?
well, because we're changing so much of what we do and how the expected way of doing things has always been perceived. So we're doing things that we're like, I was like, well, you can't possibly do it like that. Like, yeah, you can. Let me
You
show you
just
how. And I'll show you how we're doing
this
it.
book is how we did it.
Yeah.
And so this is my next challenge. I need you to help me fix this. And I've got a couple people going, huh.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
the
yeah.
other thing too, folks, is we've been doing Indy for a while. So we've all managed to fuck up enough stuff that we don't want to do that again. That's why for the past 6 years, 7 years now, we have taught indie publishing at uh, LibertyCon. I won't say taught, I'll say we did a breakout on it. And we've had 20 to 30 people in there every time, including this last year, a couple of Trad Pub authors who came in. And after the presentation said the reason they were there was they wanted to go indie.
Hybrid, I think for big authors, for big traditional
Yeah.
authors, hybrid is going to be the way to go.
Yeah.
I was talking to Chuck Gannon, and he's carrying the flag for hybridization.
So is Rob Hampson.
So-
So is Jim Butcher, apparently.
Jim's. Oh,
Mhm.
I need to chase that man down one of these days. But I was about to say the thing about leading the charge means you're a target.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Which is why you're in front.
She didn't even pause.
Yeah. And
Didn't even pause.
we're back into the old computers. My first one was IBM XT that I got used from somebody at IBM
Commodore 64.
that had 640K memory total, 2 floppies. They were 5 1/4 inch, and a green screen that was 6x9, I think. And I got a disk with this program called Lightning, which sped the computer up from 4 megahertz as originally designed to a massive speed of 8 megahertz.
I had our first computer my parents bought was a Commodore 64. And I've got 4 manuscripts on that thing. I have no idea where it is. Those manuscripts are lost and gone forever because nothing reads Commodore Basic anymore.
Yeah.
And the floppies, the actual floppy disks I put them on, have probably degraded enough that those manuscripts are toast.
Oh, VIC 20 on a compact luggable. Yeah. Yeah, folks, we had some odd ones, obviously. Oh, you had now, Greg, that's not fair. You had an RGB monitor. That's just not fair.
We actually had the 5 1/4, the big floppies, and floppies.
Yeah.
It was fun to work on. I learned Commodore Basic for all the good that did me.
Yeah.
We also had a Betamax video player. We tended to go the wrong way with stuff. We had a Betamax. Does anybody remember the old capacitance electronic disc video discs, where you had to slide it in and then pull the casing out?
Yeah.
And halfway through the movie, you slid it back in, pulled it out, turned it over, slid it back in, pulled it out. Yeah, we had a crap ton of those movies. Didn't take off. Betamax didn't take off. Commodore 64, learned Commodore Basic.
Actually, Betamax did take off in a much higher world. Betamaxes were still being used 6 years ago by the major television studios.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually a better better format.
But these are not your Betamaxes you got for home use. They're literally rack size.
These things, they were great, huge plastic squares.
Yep.
And you slid it into the player. And when you pulled it out, the gut stayed inside.
Yep.
And then you go about halfway through, and then you have to slide it in, pull it out. You'd have the gut, and you flip it over and slide it back in and pull it out, and you could play the rest of it. And I didn't realize those movies, we had a crap ton of movies.
Yep.
Were edited for length. And they took out some of the better stuff in Blazing Saddles. We had Blazing Saddles on CED.
Yeah. Timex Sinclair. That's one I hadn't thought about in years. Yes, they had a cassette tape player. The only problem was that cassette tape, because it would unspool itself occasionally inside the machine.
Uh-huh.
Oh God, the old days, they were so much fun.
The CEDs, and they called them laser discs, but there's no laser involved in the damn thing.
Yeah.
So it was actually a needle. The CEDs had this really weird glitch they do, and you'd lose 15 minutes of the movie on this really weird glitch they do.
Yeah. Scott, that's saying a lot that you still have a working Betamax. The problem is, I don't think anybody's got any of the video that will work on a Betamax anymore.
Oh, and what's even better was we bought our first Betamax when we were overseas.
Yeah.
And oh God, we had a shit ton of pirated movies. Oh my God, we had a shit ton of pirated movies. But the overseas, the TV format was PAL CCAM.
Yeah.
And here in the States, it's NTSC.
Yeah.
So we had to get a
You had to get a converter for the TV. Yep. Yeah, trash 80s. Yeah. Schools bought a lot of trash 80s.
For those of you who are wondering, when I was opening the coffee, I paper cut my finger. That's why I've been doing the guy thing.
Yeah, Rick. NTSC, never twice the same color.
No kidding.
Oh, God.
So
Porn, yes, was the driving force for the internet and video players.
driving.
Yeah.
Chicka wow, chicka wow, wow.
Well,
Driving.
actually, back in the early 2000s, I was working for the university, and we got involved with some stuff with Justice Department and some honeypots for the Chinese who were trying to hack the university.
Catch a grenade. Oh, wait, what?
Yeah. And one of the discussions was the number of porn sites being run off of college campuses in the United States.
To this day,
And at one point, and this is early 2000s, 70% of the porn sites were run on college campuses.
not a surprise.
And
The
30% of them were run by
College co-eds.
college co-eds
No kidding.
and
That was a
resident assistants who managed the barracks, the dorms,
Barracks.
dorms, whatever. Yeah. And it
The
was-
internet was designed for porn and cats.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If they ever got rid of the porn on the internet, there would be one site left, and it would be bringbacktheporn.com
Yeah.
And cats.
and cats.
Yeah. Yeah. Who was the brilliant individual that got whitehouse.com?
Oh,
Oh, yeah. That was
that was brilliant.
brilliant. Everybody, when they first came out with the internet and it dropped into the real world, the World Wide Web,
94?
yeah, early 90s, the White House put up a webpage, was whitehouse.gov. And somebody
Snatch whitehouse.com.
snatched whitehouse.com. So people not thinking would type in whitehouse.com, thinking they were getting the White House.
And get an eyeful.
And yeah, they definitely got an eyeful. Yes, university sites are the bane of existence for cybersecurity. We would do a free scan of the kids' incoming computers at the university when they checked in for the fall and spring semesters. And the average computer that a student brought to the university had 41 malware, viruses, etc. on them. And a constant battle that the university had was with professors who would download clickbait viruses to their computers at work, including one guy that got a professor that got caught 6 different times downloading porn before he was finally fired.
The internet is for porn. Porn, porn,
Yeah.
porn, porn.
Yeah.
Richard Brown went there too. Let's see here. We have coffee. We have the 4 stages of Bigfoot love. What else have we got? Pickle candy. I was gonna try one of these.
You should try
I'm
one.
gonna regret this.
Oh, there are regrets and then there are regrets.
I'm kidding, right?
You know you're going. You know what? Never mind. You know you're going to regret it. Why do it? But no,
Yeah. Why not?
I know better because
Bones, knit,
Veronica
scar,
Arkachi and Jughead, yes.
bones, knit, scars, heal, chicks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay then.
Yeah, Greg, they did use U.S. University, and actually, I'm going to get out of range.
The initial peppermint is a little scary. There's the pickle. Pickle and peppermint is not a combination.
No,
Don't.
two Brits who spun Satan's toe into cotton candy. Oh God, that would definitely be a bad idea. Edible but non-habit forming.
Oh, there is a faint
Oh.
hint of toe fungus. Chinese.
Usenet was before the spammers found it and wrecked it.
They don't.
Unix boxes were Thor and Agnes.
They don't combine the two flavors thoroughly. There are pockets of Tinactin and pockets of grandma's lingerie drawer. And you never get them at the same time. Oh, that's bad.
Oh yes, Rick. Cuckoo's Egg by Clifford Stahl. Yeah. Tracking the hackers. I think he was going to dispose of something. Yeah, I thought so.
Ah. Oh, I'm out of Pepsi. What the fuck?
that was your
Uh,
first mistake.
yeah, John, that's, yeah.
Ooh. Pepsi, Tinactin, and wintergreen. Not a good combination. Ooh.
Okay, Richard, you got us with that one. Yeah, we're all dusting off some old neurons. Except Ian, he's
I don't think he's gotten enough.
he's not
It's
the
sticking to my tongue.
Sprinkle mints to clean the palate. You want to try the bacon ones to clean the palate?
No.
There's some stuff over here in the other one.
Other one. There's what the?
Oh yes, you can.
Oh,
Would you like a dum 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 dum?
You want
Okay.
bubble mint
Who-
or black cherry?
Bubbleman. Who sent us this crap?
Richard.
Richard. You are a bad person.
That's original double bubble. Guaranteed to pull any wisdom teeth out and anything else that gets stuck on them. Oh. Yeah.
I've forgotten this stuff hit the because this is cinder block about 2 weeks after you picked off the road.
Oh God.
I'm not taking it off my tongue.
Dropped the candy in the coffee. They had additional flavor. No. Eating pickled candy is like playing Russian roulette with a Glock. Yeah.
It's not taking out my tongue. The hell's in that stuff?
I don't know. Probably something somewhere.
You may require some alcohol.
Nope. All it says is individually wrapped by Archie McPhee. Whoever the hell Archie McPhee is.
That's a weird combination in the back of my throat.
Strangely enough, there are no contents listed.
No.
Briny, sweet, tasty, and dilly.
Yeah, that's 4 lies to the price of one.
Take those to the next con, stick them on the table.
Right? Oh. Flatiron Building, Manhattan. For Raconteur Press with love. Care of Flatiron Building, Manhattan, New York. That's disgusting.
Archie McPhee is a purveyor of novelty, surplus, and other wonderful things.
Well, I'm not sure novelty is the word I'm looking for.
Archie
is novel.
McFoot fungus. Nancy, so they're local to you.
I'm sorry. No, seriously, there's a film on my tongue.
Well, you're the one that was stupid enough to try it.
Kidding, right? That bacon one, I'm no way I'm doing that bacon one. Hell no. Hell no. Ugh.
Let's see who made this one.
Label
Oh, Archie McPhee.
a gift from Tor Press. Well, the Bigfoot Love is also from Archie McPhee. So little guys are multi-talented.
Artificially flavored. For a nutritional info, call.
Hey, what's the nutritional info on your bacon candy canes? Click.
Yeah.
Sugar and poison.
Gee, I'm
Yeah. We'll wait till somebody else comes in to try those.
kidding. Yeah, no kidding, right?
The
We need
Scalzi
a
lady
guest.
call.
We need a guest.
Yeah,
I have a question. If I were to upload,
42.
yes, exactly. If I were to upload some poems, little brief, 30-second short form, me reading poems, would that interest anybody?
Yeah.
And they'll go, what?
Yes, sure. Why?
I just,
You felt like it?
Cedar and I were discussing it. Me reading some of the poems that are less known around.
And her illustrating them? Like she's doing with the goblin?
If you're going to read Kipling, yes.
Well, Kipling and Robert W. Service and Tennyson, the stuff that I don't know about her. I'm going to be reading it on like a short form video. I don't know how she would. That's a Cedar thing. She's brilliant. She'll figure
She
it out.
is.
Yeah.
Well, she was doing the stories for her sister. And she was illustrating them.
That's
So,
what
yeah.
that's what actually brought that up. We were talking
Yeah.
about the stories for her sister, and it's like,
There was once a man from Ichipaw.
actually, I was thinking being more serious, but I was telling her one of my favorite poems is "The Quitter" by Robert W. Service, which I think right now is particularly relevant to the veteran community. And it's that, if I sit down and read, just not being goofy, just read a poem a week. I didn't know if anybody'd have any interest in that.
Sure. And especially if you read them in the accent,
No,
which would come out.
no.
Yes, it will. I guarantee you, if you read Kipling, it will be in the
Well,
accent,
Well, that,
whether you want it or not.
but the
Oh,
Invictus-
Scalzi is desperate, huh? Running a donate to get my books on Humble Bundle. No, just no. Ballad of Bodathon.
But there are some really good poems out there that are skipped over. But nobody's apparently heard of Robert Service, which really blows my mind.
That is strange.
That man is brilliant. Kipling,
Grave of the 100 Head, yes.
yeah, stuff like that. Just
Do a poetry books, audible version by Demento.
I was thinking, just sit over there and read a poem a week.
Yeah.
some of the classics, some of the poetry for guys that is written by problematic
Yeah.
poets.
Well, Tennyson.
Idiots. Yeah.
Oh. There's a lot of good poetry out there.
Oh, there's excellent poetry out there, and it's an hour late, little sister. But it's there's stuff that I read as a child. I don't know that it formed me, but it
Yeah.
definitely had something of an impact. And you can't find it. I was on the internet looking for some of the poems that I read as a child. And you can't
Yeah.
find them because apparently the authors are problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes me wonder if you can still find If online.
You can. I
I'm
found
surprised.
If Michael Caine did a beautiful rendition of it and boosted it back up on the public consciousness. The Quitter can be found. Charge the Light Brigade is hard, but you can find it.
Yeah.
Allpoetry.com has most poems that are available. Okay.
Doug makes a good point. Gutenberg Press might have some of them too.
Oh yeah, I can find
Yeah.
them. I'm just
Yeah.
I don't want to sit down and
How are you going to cremate Tom McGee or Sam McGee without getting goofy?
no kidding, right?
I will say one of my favorite bass singers did the cremation of Sam McGee, and it's chilling.
Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
so good. It's honestly one of my favorite poems. I'm like, I know Robert Service. How did I like? Because
Yeah.
the cremation of Sam
Ooh,
McGee
but that-
was like
But
I memorized it in third grade,
Mhm.
and until very recently, recite it from memory because
I used to be able to do the Quitter, but I was thinking about it the other day, and I can't.
You'd have to do Casey at the bat too. That's interesting. I did not realize some of Kipling is still under copyright.
Oh wow! But if there's some interest, because I have to come up here and sit down, find a poem, and then I'm going to have to. If there's some interest that will justify me coming up here and reading it, I'll if y'all be interested, I can do a weekly, just a short form,
Ballad of Nancy Bell. You've already
Oh,
got a
really?
week's worth of reading, month's worth of readings.
just to do a short form reel, put it up on Facebook,
Yeah.
or maybe do we have a Raconteur Press YouTube page?
no. Do we need one?
I don't know.
We'll talk
That's right,
about it.
North Texas Troublemakers.
Well, yeah, we've been doing all the broadcasts from North
Yeah.
Texas Troublemakers. We've got all of our other stuff there. Why not? I've got I did readings on some of the
Yeah, you did.
for all the postcards, so
Yeah,
those are all there.
the 50-word postcard things. It's
Yep.
fantastic. Yeah. Okay. So
Z-Dog definitely wants you to do it.
okay.
Yep.
Well, I will. I'll start, getting some poems together. It's poems for guys. There was when we were children in Africa, one of our tutors, Penguin Big Book of Poems, and it was to a child that fucking thick, and we had to memorize a poem a week on that thing as part of our education. That's not a good way to.
Yeah. If I remember right, we had senior English. We had to read a number of poems and memorize them.
I remember we started out with the Song of Hiawatha. That's a bad poem to start out having to memorize.
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh,
But the Penguin, the orange and white cover, Penguin Big Book of Poems. And there were some good poems in there, but I hated having to memorize poems.
I'm just trying to remember. Miss Henderson always passed them out on mimeograph sheets.
Mrs. Carter. Mrs. Carter is one that made me and Chris memorize the Penguin Big Book of Poems.
Yeah, the smell of freshly mimeographed sheets. Get hired a kite.
Yeah, I was fixing to say there are always those two kids that volunteer to run the mimeograph machine, so they come out of the closet high.
It feels so good out here.
We did a poem a week in third grade, and there was actually we had a contest so you could do it first. It was fun. I don't know.
But you didn't start out with Song of Hiawatha either.
No.
Land of Counterpain by Robert. Stevenson.
Oh, Tom, that's a shame. I started reading Kipling when I was probably 10 or 11.
Started reading Kipling when I was 6.
Yeah.
Kipling was, as children in Africa, Kipling was required reading for us.
Yeah.
Kim was a great book.
We started Bible verses in like at 3.
Yeah.
So like, and that was a weekly thing too. So yeah.
Yeah, so I'll take a look at some of the older
Father William by Lewis Carroll. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Just So stories. I think Cedar's got that wrapped up. I'm going to leave the Just So to Cedar. But I can do little, Charge Light Brigade. There are stories out there or poems out there I can read.
Your old Father William, the young man said, yes. Yeah. Me read it and you give color commentary.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Read and critique the Scarlet Letter.
Terrible thing is I went straight from Kipling to Robert Ludlum.
Yeah.
There's a gear shift change for you. When you're 8.
Yeah.
Random Exchange was the first Ludlum novel I read. That was not was not for an 8-year-old.
Frost and Emerson, yeah. Well, that's kind of expected different. That part of the country.
So Kermit. So what I'm getting is Rector Press will do a poetry publishing thing too. We're staying in our lane. We're going to stay in our lane. We will gently branch out, but poetry's not. It's not. I will do it just for the hell of it because it's not publishing poetry. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do these readings just because I think there's poems out there that are forgotten and that people need to know about.
I did not know that, Richard. Early episode of Fresh Prince had Joffrey doing the Charge of the Light Brigade. Yes, Casey at the bat.
Casey at bat's good. We have money to publish poetry. It's pain in the ass. It's out of our lane. We need to stay in our lane for what we're doing.
Mhm.
We can gently once we get a solid foundation laid for Raconteur Press. We're still iffy for now. We get a solid foundation laid, and we will. Then we can start branching out into other stuff. But right now, that poetry is that's way too much of a jump.
And part of it's the formatting would have to be exactly perfect. You'd have to give me your stuff in ready. It had to be any submissions that would have to be like picture perfect. I'd have to be able to put it in as an image to get some of the if you're going to do shaped poetry because that's a pain in the ass. And if you're and depending on how long or short the poems are, we wouldn't have enough for a print version unless we're adding a whole bunch of fluff to the beginning and the end, which is what we learned with the
postcards,
the postcard books.
Yeah.
So
that's off the table, folks.
Yeah. Until something else changes, I do not anticipate us doing poetry just because the logistics are
so far out of our wheel. It's also so far out of our wheelhouse.
Now we've gotten poems as part of the postcard books. People turn in poems for some of those. So if someone turns in a narrative poem that works with one of our themes, I'll consider it. But I'm not like it has to work with the formatting.
We are known for pulps, not poetry.
Yeah. Now the pulps had some poetry.
Yeah. But we're known. I'm
not
as a
pulling for
house.
Poetry. I'm not.
In other words, no.
Yes, but I have a whole list of reasons we can go over these. But no.
And we've wasted another hour of your time today.
Whoa.
So go buy John's book, Summer Child, out in mass market today.
And leave ratings and reviews.
Leave reviews. Screw the ratings. Leave the damn reviews.
Leave reviews on Amazon when you buy his book. He needs Summer's End.
Yeah.
Leave reviews.
It's definitely Summer's End. We're now into winter.
That's leave honest reviews. Please.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're done.
So remember, folks, don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty stuff. And hopefully you're out of leftovers by now. And we'll see you Thursday.
Y'all be
Bye-bye.
safe.